Good afternoon, everybody, and big welcome to the Tager International Conference on Feminism in the Abrahamic Religions, Dilemmas of Gender and Law from a Multicultural Perspective. We're first going to start with greetings in Arabic.
أهلاً وسهلاً بجميع المشاركين والمشاركات في المؤتمر الدولي حول موضوع النسوية في الديانات الإبراهيمية. مع إنه النسوية تتعرض للهجوم من داخل العالم الديني كمسؤول عن فقدان القيم العقلية وتفكيك الهويات الجندرية، ومن ناحية أخرى فإن النسوية الغربية الليبرالية تعتبر الدين نظامان أبويان يجب محاربته، وبالتالي فهي تعتبر النسوية الدينية بمثابة تناقض يتوافق مبنى القوة الدينية. مع ذلك النسوية الدينية أخذت في التوسع في الديانات الإبراهيمية وتحقق أيضاً نجاحات كبيرة. يهدف هذا المؤتمر الدولي إلى أرض المعضلات التي توجه النسوية الدينية وخلق قاعدة وسيلة للتعاون والتعليم المتبادل. نؤمل الجميع مؤتمر مهم وحسب ومبسوطات بوجودكم ووجودكم.
Thank you very much, Ronit. And once again, welcome to everybody. The combination of feminism and religion is not easy to digest. The objections to this combination arise from both sides of the divide. Religionists tend to regard feminism and feminists as responsible for the loss of family values and the disintegration of gender identities, while liberal Western feminism, widely associated with secularism, tend to regard religion as a patriarchal structure to be fought. Both sides consider religious feminism to be an oxymoron. Nevertheless, religious feminism is gaining in strength and spreading, and some even classify it as today's most prominent feminist movement. At this international conference, we wish to present the complex dilemmas facing religious feminism in the three Abrahamic religions, to explore their similarities and differences, and to examine the strategies that may create a broad base for collaboration and mutual learning. And to open our conference, I'm delighted to invite the president of the University of Bar-Ilan University, Professor Arie Zaban. Arie, you have the floor, please.
Thank you very much, Ruth, Professor Kaddari, Halperin. And I would like to say hello also to Esther, our good friend. And I know that behind the screen also there is Romy over there. So good afternoon to Romy, and also to our fellows here in the current panel, Professor Tamar Ross, Shalom. It's good to see you, and Professor Rivka Tuval Mashiach, Professor Irshai, Nurit Jacob Sinon. These are the people that I know better from Bar-Ilan, and also Limor sitting with us. Hello to everyone. I will try to be very short because I believe that I don't have heavy insights into the specific topic. I just have feeling. I have a general feeling that something big is happening right now. And I want to connect it to the general notion of what's happening right now. And I think that the best way to describe it is a word that is actually brought from the technological world, which is called disruption. Disruption is a big change that is happening in a short time. And when you finish the disruption, everything looks different compared to the very beginning. And we've been exposed to disruptions, the internet, iPhone, Spotify, all technological examples, but suddenly, and very much because of the pandemic that we are exposed to, we experience disruption all over. We at the academia feel it very strongly. We moved from one day to the other, from 100% frontal teaching to 100% online teaching, a process that otherwise, if we would like to want to do it, it could take us 10 years at least, and even then, not 100% would actually follow the change. And we did it just over one weekend. In the same way, if you look around, there is a very, very strong, dramatic political disruption happening right now. The connection with the, with the Emirates, with Bahrain, with those Arab countries is also a very strong disruption process that has been there for a long time, but on a very low level, and suddenly it occurs and it goes into the level of before and after. Once you are after, you don't understand how could you live before. And I do believe that what you are doing right now is part of this disruption. This is a huge opportunity for you. You may ask yourself, why is it connected to the pandemic? It is connected and it's not connected. It is connected to the fact that people are open now to make big changes and open to fast processes. And it all depends on us, on all of us sitting here. And we can basically do it. And the good thing that you have connected it to the religious part, which can move from being an obstacle to being an opportunity. So I'm very, very happy that we at Bar-Ilan took a lead on this issue. And I wish you, for the sake of us, for the sake of our children, a lot of success in the discussions, and try as much as possible to make it a reality, not just a discussion, but also to really make it happen. We are here to do whatever, almost whatever is needed, ad chatzi malchut, half of the kingdom as we can offer, and help you make it happen. So thank you very much, and I will be with you partly in and out to try and listen and learn, and hopefully at the end of this conference, I will be smarter in that respect. Thank you very much. Be'atzlacha, good luck.
Thank you very much, Professor Zaban, for these fascinating words. Thinking about religious feminism as part of a disruption, I think gives us a lot to think about, but I'm very glad to adopt this description. It will be very useful for us. And I would like to pass on and give the floor now to our dear friend, Esther Tager from London. Esther, you have the virtual floor, please.
Thank you, Professor Zaban, for that lovely introduction. I must tell you that Romy and I are really delighted to be involved with this groundbreaking conference. For me, it's the culmination of a personal journey. I grew up in an Orthodox Jewish family and remain a committed and traditional Jew. My master's degree in the 1980s was in women's studies. This met with some skepticism from both family and friends. Nevertheless, it enabled me to examine the inequalities experienced by women, especially in the context of their religion. My own area of interest focused on women and the law, particularly Jewish divorce, specifically the agunah, the chained woman whose husband is unwilling to participate in the required procedures for dissolving a Jewish marriage. My MPhil thesis examined the scope of the solutions that exist within Jewish law. I then considered why the religious authorities were unwilling to use them. I researched the prospect of state intervention and whether it was the responsibility of the state to rescue a religion from its own self-imposed problem. Subsequently, I worked as a family mediator. I was and remain an activist in all aspects of discrimination against women. I believe passionately that women should not be prisoners within their own religion. I must tell you that it is a wonderful feeling to see women from the 3 Abrahamic faiths coming together at this forum. I want to thank everyone who has been involved with this conference, particularly Professor Ruth Halperin-Kaddari and her colleagues at the Rackman Center and at Bar-Ilan University. And to you, the distinguished participants, Romy and I wish you a most enjoyable and stimulating time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Esther. It's really heartwarming, and it's really thanks to you that this plan and this dream could come true. Actually, the origins of this conference go back to the BC era, that is before Corona. And it's only a year and a half ago, but it seems really like a decade ago. Like so many other academic ventures, the move to the virtual space has its advantages in increased accessibility to so many audiences, and we can see more than 100 people are already online and they keep growing, the number keeps growing. But this greater accessibility is particularly significant for our subject matter. Religious feminism is a worldwide movement, and the possibility to connect across continents, across cultures, and across traditions is ever more critical for those of us who yearn for global evolution in this challenging field. As the founding academic director of the Rackman Center at Bar-Ilan University, I find this conference especially exciting, since it signifies so much of what the Rackman Center stands for. The parallel work both within religion and outside religious institutions to overcome structural discrimination and to promote women as equal agents and participants within religion. And now it gives me the most pleasurable part of my opening remarks to express gratitude and thanking all those who are behind this conference. First and foremost, this conference would not have been made possible without Esther and Romy Tager, longtime friends and supporters of the Bar-Ilan University Law Faculty and of the Rackman Center, who generously sponsored this international conference. I would like to thank our partners in this conference, the Gender Studies program at Bar-Ilan University and the Center for the Study of Relations between Jews, Christians, and Muslims at the Open University. Many thanks are due also to the members of the steering committee, whose names are listed on the program, for offering valuable advice, especially in light of the uncertainty along the way. And special thanks to Tom Rolef Ben Shachar, the conference coordinator. Thanks are due also to Nurit Jacob-Zinon and to Dr. David Sperber, who curated the extraordinary accompanying exhibition, which will be officially launched this evening after the opening session with our keynote speakers. Lastly, 2 individuals deserve particular recognition and thanks. Keren Horowitz, the CEO of the Rackman Center, and Dr. Ronit Irshai, co-chair of the conference, who worked tirelessly over each and every detail to make this happen. Thank you. It is our hope that the common ground and values revealed at the conference will result in deeper understanding and enhanced possibilities for both research and engagement. And now I would like to pass on the floor to Professor Rivka Tuval Mashiach, head of the Gender Studies program at Bar-Ilan University.
Thank you, Ruthie. I'm honored and excited to welcome you all to our conference, Dilemmas of Gender and Law from a Multicultural Perspective. Yesterday, on Shabbat, Saturday, we read the weekly Torah portion, Parashat Beshalach, in the book of Exodus. This portion tells the dramatic miracle of splitting of the Red Sea, where the Israelites passed and the Egyptians drowned while chasing the Israelites. This miracle is followed by a song of praise and gratitude, Shirat Hayam, to God by Moses and the people. In this portion, we read about Miriam, Moses' sister, first time mentioned by name, and we're told about her leading all the women to dance, play the drums, and sing their own gratitude song. We get a glimpse, a very short one, of a female leader's role, but this hint implies that there is much more we don't know. Why is Miriam called a prophet? How can she dare to initiate such a public dance with all the women, to create her own song, to sing it aloud with others? From the book of Micha, as well as other interpretive texts, we learn that Miriam was one of the three leaders that were responsible and involved in the Israelite redemption and Exodus. Together with, not behind, her two brothers, she led the nation in their journey. Even from the little we formally hear about her, we learn that she spoke up, she performed her roles in public, she was a central part of the event, not an outsider, and she was in charge of foreseeing the future, holding the vision for the nation. Now let's stay with this for a moment. More than 3,000 years ago, during one of the most important religious moments of the Jewish nation, a woman speaks up publicly, dances, and sings with other women as an integral part of the festivities, not behind a wall, not beneath a veil, with no one thinking of silencing her. Yet, that's all we hear about her in this portion, and in the two other occasions in the Torah that she is also briefly mentioned. Nowhere in the Torah do we learn about her life, her upbringing, how she grew up to become such a leader. Did she marry? Did she have a family? In a nutshell, this is the story of all the women in the history of Abrahamic religions. They are present and absent. Their lives and impact are either denied or downplayed. When they are not leaders or extraordinary, they are completely missing from the texts. Yet they lived and loved and thought and created and narrated and responded to their environments and circumstances in various ways. And it is thanks to researchers of women in religions and in the law and to feminist awareness that we know now much more about the history, about the religious laws, about sociological aspects, about their psychology and legacy of women within the religions in which they lived and of which they were part. I wish to thank all of those involved in organizing this conference, which I'm sure will be fascinating. Thank you, Esther and Romy Tager, for generously supporting the conference. Thank you, Professor Ruth Halperin-Kaddari and Dr. Ronit Irshai for chairing the conference. And thank you, our collaborators, the Rackman Center and the Center for the Study of Relations between Jews, Christians, and Muslims, and Professor Limor. Special thanks to Nurit Jacob-Zinon and to Dr. David Sperber for curating the virtual exhibition Body Text. And thank you everyone who helped to make this conference possible. I wish you an enjoyable conference.
Thank you so much, Rivka, for opening up and for already giving us a taste of what we're going to discuss, I'm sure, starting as of 10 minutes from now and throughout the next 2 days. And I would now like to ask Professor Limor from the Center of the Study of Relations between Jews, Christians, and Muslims, the Open University of Israel, our partners in this conference.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you. My name is Limor. I am professor of medieval history, former vice president of the Open University, and board member of the Center for the Study of the Relations between Jews, Christians, and Muslims. And on behalf of the Open University, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to today's exciting conference. I speak for both myself and my colleagues at the Open University when I say that the multicultural perspective is close to our hearts. For many years, we have taught and promoted knowledge on the role of religion in history, mainly from the intercultural point of view. In courses, academic courses such as Ethiopia, Jews, Christians, Muslims, or encounters between cultures in the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, or childhood in the Middle Ages, Jewish and Christian children, and more, students study cultures and religions in a dialogical framework, stressing similarities and differences, as well as the challenges they pose to each other. Additionally, about 10 years ago, we established a research center devoted to the study of the relations between the three Abrahamic faiths. Amongst its other activities, it also sponsors the present conference. In recent years, the role of women in the religious experience and reality has attracted the attention of scholars in many fields: history, religious studies, anthropology, law, and more. Today's conference is set to make an important contribution to the topic. It brings together two crucial theoretical frameworks, feminism and multiculturalism, and with them, the promise for a better understanding of our world and its significant challenges. As an historian interested both in religious dialogue and in the place of women in it, let me close my short address with a brief vignette from my own field of research. Atop the Mount of Olives in Jerusalem, there is a cave that holds an ancient tomb of a saintly woman. It has been known since the 6th century, that is, for over 1500 years. According to Christians, the woman buried there is Saint Pelagia, a harlot who repented and became a saint. According to Muslim tradition, the woman in the tomb is Rabbi al-Adawiya, a famous saint of early Islam and an important figure of Sufi tradition, while Jews believe that the woman in the tomb is the prophetess Hulda, mentioned in the Book of Kings. Delicate threads connect the three women to each other. For now, I will have to leave you in suspense about this intriguing web of connections and mention only one point. For hundreds of years, believers of the three Abrahamic traditions have venerated the tomb as that of a woman, an important woman of their faith. And there were times when three kinds of believers, Jews, Christians, and Muslims, prayed there shoulder to shoulder, each one to his or her own saint. The Holy Land, this small contested piece of earth, offers other examples of this kind in which feminine tradition enables some degree of sharing and coexistence. We are invited to study them and learn from them. And so I wish all of us, all participants and listeners, an enjoyable conference. Thank you.